You had President Obama come to your plant a few months ago. What was that like, having the president show up?
Well, actually, it was, I think for the team, it was an amazing kind of validation from the effort. We've put a lot into trying to get this factory up and running, and being able to spend a little bit of time with him, actually have him have the insight to say, this is an area that we can own. I mean, in terms of the production style and our approach, and this product category is something that truly you have to build them here if you're going to sell them here. And for his acknowledgement of that, and then the time he took with actually every employee that we have to acknowledge their efforts was pretty remarkable.
Now, you mentioned building them here. People might not know this, but Smith Electric is an old company. It's an old British company, correct?
Well, that's the amazing part, I think, of the story, is this is a company that's only ever made electric vehicles. I mean, like commercial electric vehicles, and they've been doing it for over 80 years. So it's based in Newcastle in northern England, owned by the Smith family for the better part of those 80 years, and just over the last since 2004 was acquired by a group and really brought more to the forefront in terms of commercial truck building.
Now, we have some smaller electric car companies like Think Automotive or Fisker, yep. Tesla, and they're going up against the big three, or the big five, actually, it was right. What it is now. It's not quite the same market that you're in, but you're definitely going in against some established internal combustion engines. Is it daunting at all?
Well, I mean, certainly there's incumbents, right? This is a market, it's an established market. I would say medium-duty trucks, which is our focus, is somewhat of a niche for everybody. I don't know if anybody really purely focuses on it, because if you think about, the Freightliners and Kenworths and some of the other ones, they really do tend to lean towards big over-the-road trucks. But medium-duty is our focus. Certainly, they have strength, they have size, they've got infrastructure. But from our perspective, this is really discontinuous innovation. It really is technology that we're not competing with the diesel, we're replacing a diesel. And if we put a truck out there, it's not like you can drive it down to the local service center. So the fact that they've got a local service capability in a market already for diesel engines doesn't really give them a competitive advantage over us in that market, because they're not trained to do electric vehicles yet. So for us, certainly, there's somewhat of an overshadow saying, if they really got serious and focused on this niche, how could we compete? But right now, we really do view it as a niche, and we certainly are the leader in it, and feel, we've got a little bit of space to breathe to kind of grow our business.
And it's a little bit different situation with the delivery truck, because you normally have set routes. You know how
Yes.
far you're going to go back and forth each day. People don't take delivery trucks home or to grandma's house on the weekend. So
Exactly.
do you think that this fits a little bit better than the family car when it comes to electric vehicles?
Well, there's no question. I think we have even a responsibility to lead this industry. If you think about electrification as an opportunity in general, certainly the core of the reality behind an electric motor just being more efficient than an IC engine, there's some logic to saying this should happen. But as you've already mentioned, if you think about from a consumer perspective, there are constraints. There's things that would limit your willingness to make that purchase. In our environment, we're focused on what we call depot-based logistics. So it's a company that's committed, has a central warehousing strategy. Again, I don't care how product gets to Kansas City, but once it's in the warehouse, how it gets to that storefront or to the door front is really our business. And in that environment today, whether they buy a gas, a diesel, or an electric, they're going to drive in a circle every day, and it's going to come back to the same place every night, and it's going to park. So for us, it allows a central charge point, because it's going to park the same place, very fixed duty cycle, it's going to drive in the same distance, so we can put the appropriate amount of energy on it so that we know it will deliver the results. And so yeah, we are bringing a product into a given sector that will deliver 100% of the performance required.
Who would be your main competition, or do you look at it as that you don't have competition because there's no other electric truck company here in the U.S.?
Well, at this point, we really don't. I mean, our biggest competitor, our biggest challenge of adoption is really education, awareness. I mean, first of all, most people don't know that they can make the choice to buy one today, right? They don't know that we're in production. We've been very focused on how we've launched the product. We went to some what we call launch partners, key individuals, key freight of big fleets that really have a commitment to sustainability corporately, and have really helped us kind of bring this product to where it is. But now, as we start breaking into that next tier of customer opportunities, first of all is letting them know they can even buy one, right? That's the first piece of awareness. But other than that, there's a perception that they're too expensive. There's a big capital investment, and albeit there's a premium, there's a tremendous business model here and financial opportunity. We just have to spend the time to educate.
Now, I would assume that an electric truck, an electric vehicle, is cheaper to run on the maintenance side than an internal combustion. So you're not only saving money on the gasoline, because electricity is cheaper than gasoline or diesel.
Right.
you're also saving money on the upkeep. There's no oil changes, no oil filters, and the like. So where does this sort of work out where these vehicles cost more than ICs, correct?
Yes.
Where does it sort of work out that you start to get your money back?
Well, clearly for us, I mean, the key is fuel savings is what everybody looks at initially. There's no question about it. So if you think about fuel savings, we're about 80% less on a per mile basis. So if you think about medium duty truck, they get between 6 and 8 miles to the gallon. And so you're going to spend almost 40 cents for every mile you drive just in fuel, and we're going to save about 80% of that. Maintenance to that point, we've got 4 moving parts in our drivetrain. Right? It's an electric motor and it's gear reduction. So there's no transmission to either build or maintain. There's no oil changes, as you said. There's no radiator for coolant. There's no fuel system. There's no exhaust system. So certainly over time, what tends to drive one of these trucks off the road at year 8, 9, or 10 is that the maintenance has actually become more expensive than the fuel. And it just doesn't become economical to keep it out there running. And with an electric motor, you're just not going to see that end-of-life spike. And over the life, there's certainly probably as much maintenance offset as there is fuel in terms of savings opportunity.
Now, people of our age, when we think electric car, I'm sure the first thing that comes to people's mind is a golf cart.
Right.
And you're dealing with truck drivers, delivery guys.
Yep.
You know, was it hard breaking down the macho barrier to say, just drive this truck? It's, you know, it has great pickup, low maintenance, right. It'll do the job.
Well, I think I've been pretty amazed. To me, first of all, I think as you engage our truck, the first thing you'll notice is it's a truck, right? A lot of people have a perception that it needs to be small, it's going to be underpowered, it's going to be a golf cart. All of a sudden, we pull up in, you know, a Class 6 truck that can carry 16,000 pounds. It's like, wow, this is actually a truck. And then you get in it, and it's a truck. Cup holders where it's supposed to be. You know, you've got, you know, it just feels and looks like a truck. And so the fact that it is what it is, and it truly is. Very similar. I mean, there's a lot of similarity, and now you get into it and you're thinking about it as a driver and you step on the gas and it's pure acceleration and it's quiet and it doesn't vibrate. We haven't had any pushback because if you think about a truck driver's world in a diesel, right, the minute you key it on, it's vibrating, it's loud, it's noisy. So from a fatigue and just quality of life perspective, this is a lot cooler truck to drive. It's nicer. So, you know, if anything, what we've seen is these trucks have showed up in depots. There's a competition saying who gets it, because clearly it is, you know, it's in vogue right now, but it also is just more enjoyable to drive. It is like a big golf cart. So if you think about the ease of driving, and it's about the same, but yet you have the actual functionality of the truck that you're used to.